Yeah, you're not on yet. Come on.
Okay, Dad.
Good morning, everyone. We're glad you're all here to the meeting of our Downtown Lexington Management District. We have a number of new folks here. I want to recognize them briefly. I think Steve's going to say some more later. Terry Sweeney is here, our new Executive Director of the DLP. Welcome, Terry, and Steve will say further comments later. We have our good friend Paula Hanson joining us. Paula, welcome. She's the new incoming chair of the DDA, and we're glad to have you here and your wisdom, and we look forward to your counsel. You all were at our, I guess it was Monday, or I had our big lunch. We got a big award for our contribution to downtown, the streetscape. Congratulations to all of you, and to our new superstar, David Warren, who is, David just got back from Tonight Show. He's been doing it. Well deserved, well done, though, David. Thank you very much for all you do. We're passing a sign-in sheet around. Please execute where indicated. If there's not a place for you, just put your name down, your affiliations. And we will go from that to our minutes for the November 1st meeting, which are in your packet that Catherine passed out or sent out email. Chair will entertain any amendments, motions.
Right, you're missing an R in the last paragraph, first page, that officer.
That's a paragraph.
I actually read it.
Thanks, Woodford.
Let the record reflect Woodford read the minutes.
For the first time ever.
For the first time ever. So with that, we want to make that amendment there?
Yeah,
okay.
that motion to accept.
Motion to motion. We have a second? Second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Steve.
Yes, you've got your treasurer's report. We are happy to say that we did receive a check from the sheriff, $266,540, another one for $1690. And Jim has assured me that they've already cleared, so we've got the money in the bank.
It was close. Already cleared. That's right.
So we just have the standard expenses that we've had all along, but we're at a pretty good cash balance now with $333,000 in the bank, and it's in pretty good shape.
About the treasurer's report. Okay, we'll go on to our old business, and David, tell us what's going on out there.
Not a whole lot. I just had to add, mainly we just been doing a lot, getting up leaves and everything. So, but it only says 33, but the way when we take the leaves up, it's getting mulched at the same time, so the total probably been higher on the number of bags. Got 4 new ambassadors out on the street now. So some of the numbers might be a little lower because they haven't adapted to the smart system yet as far as putting the information in. And the last month we've been spending a lot of time over on Short Street, by the, like the Village Idiot and in that area. And that's mainly where those panhandlers have been hanging out, all in that area. Now when we come through, we got a team where they're staying out later in that area. So pretty much when we come through, they'll leave, but it's always like the same 3 or 4 guys all the time. It's not new faces that are coming out, but whenever we have a presence right there, they'll walk off because we'll let them know that we'll call the police. We haven't had to call them, they'll leave. If we stay around, they'll probably come back after we're gone. But that's been something we've been trying to have more of a presence over there.
Are they the ones that were hanging out in the parking lot?
And the surface lot right there. To pay? They'll go to the people when they go to the pay station. So we'll tell them that it's private property. To stay off the property, we'll call the police. So after doing that a few times, most of them, when they see us now, they'll leave because they know we'll just call for them. And Mr. Webb, I have to get with someone from police dispatch to see about the radio thing, to see if we can have a direct line with them. I don't know who to contact yet as far as their dispatcher. Do you go through the non-emergency for to talk with someone, or? Well, anyway, I'm gonna have to find out about that. And we're back in our office now. That's gonna open back up. So.
And Terry, what he's talking about there is the chamber went to Minneapolis last year for their regional leadership trip, and we met with the management district, and their ambassadors on the street have a way to contact the police dispatch directly without having to go through 911, which we thought was an interesting ability.
We had that in Indianapolis with our building security. So we had what we call the security partnership, and
Right.
folks who agreed to do certain things with some additional external patrolling. We armed with police radios, and they had a control officer that they could call directly.
Right, it's just a little bit faster. We do have some buildings here that have security as well that might be a nice thing to implement to get to the dispatch faster if needed. So that's what he's talking about.
And the only other thing was last month we were talking about additional tree wells that we might do. And I was telling Ms. Catherine, the ones on Vine Street, I wouldn't worry about those with that Ham Branch project coming through there. So we'll stay away from there. But I know it's 14 of them it's on Main Street by the Visit Lex, by the Visitor Center, on the Broadway side, and where the Children's Museum is. It's a total of 18 on that block. That would be something to think about in the springtime. By then, hopefully, we'll know the process where we wouldn't have to use Franson and just do it, get the city to do it, or get some type of way where it'll be a lot cheaper than having it done by them. That was it for me.
What about the power washing? Are we making progress on Main Street? Have you noticed anything?
It's been a lot better, and they installed the spikes everywhere, so that it's a resolved issue.
Really?
Yeah. When I sent her the pictures of the birds actually roosting up there, she knew where to put the spikes at, and they've taken care of that. So it's been clean.
Who did that? The owner of the building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
On Main Street.
Yes.
We're all very surprised.
Paul, I don't know if you walk down Main, but close to where 21C is, there's a law office there we've cleaned that thousands of times. That the birds seem to like that real little area, but hopefully we've got it resolved. It's been chronic forever.
Yeah, she got spikes everywhere there, so it shouldn't be a problem.
It's a resolved issue in my mind.
What can we do about the folks on the street who have ownership interests who are feeding the birds? You know what I'm talking about? What can you do about that?
Cigar shop?
Yeah, I saw them out the other day feeding them. They were all over the place.
We sweep it up, and Mr. Ferguson will come back out.
Put it back out.
Those some out there.
Benches right there.
So he's
too.
feeding the birds?
Yeah.
Dale?
Benches out for 'em.
Right there, and also on Short Street, what's the name of the restaurant that's Short and Limestone? Right down the street from there, a lady, the secretary throws a lot of bird seeds out there all the time. Yes, to the west of Coeur d'Alene. It's a law office right there. They throw bird seeds out on the sidewalk and then put them in the windowsill all the time.
It's Fred Ertz, I think. Is it Fred?
Fred Ertz. I don't know what we can do about that other than request them not to. I don't think we can probably prohibit them from doing that, but it certainly does create a mess, and it's kind of counterproductive of what we're trying to do, which is clean up the,
Can you do me a favor, be the one to tell Mr. Ferguson?
I think Catherine would love to do that. Or maybe Terry, since she's
He's already writing it down.
Welcome to Lexington, that's right.
Yeah, but we clean it up. Once he put it out there, we'll try to get back, because he'll do it. He usually does it between 8 o'clock, 8:30. By then, we already went through there, so then we'll just have to come back and get it.
What's the cost again to do the tree wells? Remind me what we spent.
Spent $4,800 for the.
For how many?
It was 5. It was 6 all together.
6, but one was big.
One was kind of big.
That was like 300 each.
Well, I think it was well received. Everybody I've talked to liked them. The gentleman in front of that Henry
JD,
Clay,
Henry Clay.
whatever. Yeah, they really are very pleased. I went over the other day. It's really nice. So it seemed like a worthwhile project. Maybe in the spring if we could kind of figure out a way to do it a little bit less expensive, but I don't know if that's doable. Okay. Any questions for David on anything?
About the uptick in panhandling out here. Is that a seasonal thing?
I wouldn't say it's seasonal. It's just the same. The ones that we're putting on here day to day, they'll come out there, so we'll record it every day. It's usually the same 3 or 4 people that's out there. A couple of guys that'll be over at the surface lot by Village Idiot. or they might post up at the corner of Broadway and Short Street. And I asked Miss Rachel in the jewelry shop right there, I asked her for the call us anytime she sees them standing out there. Mr. Rogers, he'll contact us, but he'll call the police or he'll go out there himself.
So what, I know we've touched on this before, but you can see we went a whole bunch of months with no panhandling aggressive, and then there were 7 in November. What does that mean?
Like I said, we've been staying out there, having more of a presence, hanging in that one area more between the hours of 4 and 9:30 at night. We'll stay in that area more around the bars and around the restaurants in that area. So, and then I'm about to do more training on the smart system where they can know to input that information in the system where to show up more every month, as opposed to they might see them and they might tell them to leave and then they wouldn't put it in the phone for to upload the information. But I'm gonna do some training on that and hopefully, I hope that the numbers won't go higher once I do the training. But like I said, we having more of a presence over there, and it's getting to now when they see us, they'll walk off now.
Larry, we had a lot of complaints from the bar and restaurant owners in the Cheapside area and on Short Street who are complaining that the panhandlers target their customers who are going to pay on Short Street and Shorten Market. So you have to get out of your car, you have to put in your license plate number, and so between the time of walking back and forth the car a couple times, they're targeting those people and asking them for money. Or if someone doesn't know how to use the parking machine, they're offering help and then asking for money after they've showed them how to use the machine. But I've talked to Gary, and I'm going to reach out to the manager at Central Parking Systems and see if there's something we can do on those surface lots. So I relayed those complaints to David, and then David was able to place some ambassadors over there. So that's, you know.
Well, maybe if they have to use that thing, that's capitalist entrepreneurship or something.
Well, that's true.
They are difficult to use. So.
That's true. Terry?
If we could get a little help from the business owners themselves as far as calling the police, that would be helpful too. Because we spend a lot of time, especially over in front of Dudley's, right there, and I just stand in front of their windows, because I'll come back down at night myself. I just hang out right there, and just them seeing us, they'll just walk right past. But we can't be over there all the time.
Has anyone been robbed over at that Dudley's ticket issuer at the parking lot by Bell's, or is it all friendly? Because all we need is one old lady to get robbed, or who knows.
I think there's been some
big problem.
Instances where
to get robbed.
It was
what qualifies as an old lady?
Old man.
Somebody took someone's purse,
just someone that
tried
by
to
themselves,
forcefully grab someone's purse. But I think that might have been an employee leaving. So I mean, there have been.
Because it may take that first time
Some
person
violent.
to come to downtown to want to go to Dudley's that maybe elderly, maybe young, maybe can't figure out how to use the machine, might get robbed because they're by themselves. But that could seriously happen.
Well, you've had that experience 21C, didn't you, with your valet folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. When that happened.
Multiple incidents.
Yeah.
The valet's got mine.
Because it's
Well,
not
they-
well lit, to my
they took a
recollection.
guest
over there.
luggage
But it's a
in.
private lot too, so I'm not sure what you can do.
I think Terry had it. What? You go ahead, Terry.
I think one of the things we ought to take a look at pursuing is, that we're able to do this in Corpus Christi, is work with the property owner to put a no trespass signs up. I think depending on the state law or whatever, if you post no trespass, if it's the same individuals, you can criminal trespass them. So next time they show up on property, you see them, you can call the police, and the police will be aware of who the individuals are that have been cited for criminal trespass, and they can arrest them. So I think we can try to do that, because once that starts happening, they will stay away from there. The other thing you might take a look at, is you're worried also about robbery, and I know you have a grant program, you're trying to figure that out. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but you might give a grant to the parking lot operator to upgrade their system so that it's you don't have to get out of your car. So it's paid, at the like you have at the airports, right? So you pay while you're in your car, and that would eliminate that. So there's some things we can take a look at. And sometimes with these problems, you fire a whole bunch of stuff at it in order to dislodge this type of behavior. So we'll look at what we can do.
And Terry, I can help get you with the manager for SB Parking, the successor to Central Parking. They manage a lot of private lots here in town, and that'd be a good person for you to meet, because a lot of, whether it's Debbie Long at Dudley's or this bar or restaurant or office, had certain issues with what goes on during the day and at night.
That area,
surface lines.
That area that you're talking about by Bell's, that's usually pretty dimly lit.
That's what I thought.
Over there.
We had them add some lights a couple years ago, but it's still not.
Yeah, because at night it's real dim over there.
Where now?
By Bell's.
Right around
Market
the
Short.
that lot there.
Gary, you all have had pretty good luck with pay by phone. Some of the things you do. Is there a technology there for private lot folks to have some kind of system? I mean, I know maybe my mother and father would never use it, but they don't like smartphones. But is there a technology out there for folks that would be so inclined? I mean, then they wouldn't even have to get out of the car.
Yeah, I don't think they'll pay for the.
Well, when I've talked to the manager here at Central Parking Systems, he says the budget is so tight, there's no room for improvements.
Well, that's where the grant comes in. Because
right.
We've talked to Debbie about this. Gary and I have talked to her about this for a long time. That technology's been out there for a long time.
Oh, it has.
We've been using it forever at Parking Authority to
Pay by phone's not really that expensive to roll out, so it wouldn't be a difficult grant.
We just need to talk to, and Gary was going to put me in contact with Ben's
I think your idea is that way. I mean, we may have to upfront the money to get them to do it, but at the end of the day, it'd be a great service to the whole community.
No, that's a good point. And I'll just add one more thing to that conversation. If you get a chance to talk to property owners, the police encourage. We had a meeting related to our parking garages, and it may seem like semantics, but they said if you ban someone from your property, that gives them more teeth when you say this individual's back on my property and we've banned them. So we've trained our team when we run someone out of a garage that's just hanging out, we say you're banned from this property, because they're not there parking a car.
Right.
And so that gives the police more teeth, and they can react. Because sometimes if you call the police and the person's just walking through, they're not catching them doing anything wrong. And so I think the police have a little bit of a struggle supporting us when the person's not really doing anything wrong.
Jake?
That lot is definitely a problem. My wife is one of the people who's been harassed there. It's really inefficient. But on the other hand, I'm hesitant about giving that corporation money. We have to go back to our people paying the rate here in another 4 years. And they're a really unpopular corporation. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think we should think hard before we give money to those guys. I'd like to see their books to see if they really are tight margins. I find that really hard to believe. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I wouldn't jump to give those folks money.
They have not been exactly great corporate citizens. Let's put it that way.
Blow back for this organization.
They've been tough. We talked to them off and on for years. We've used Gary because of the relationship, trying to navigate the waters to get some of the things done. They just don't. They're tough to deal with. Gary, what about the ambassadors we have on the street? Could they help assist with what David's folks do with regard to reporting? And because more bodies, more people usually means the panhandlers are going to be somewhere else, right?
Yes. Yeah, we can get them to step it up. We've told them if they are being harassed or they see someone being harassed to call the police. We don't really encourage them to get involved in terms of trying to physically talk to the person or whatever, but calling the police is what we've been showing them to do.
We've got a different kind of issue up the other end of the street. We've got a man, I don't know if he's homeless or not, he's sort of Rastafari looking with the hair, and he's defecating and urinating by one of the elevators. He's found a spot there to scare people. The police come, Equity Management, which has it downstairs, there's a police presence. They run him off, and he comes back. It's just a persistent thing, and I don't know if an ambassador president's up there. I know we're the quieter part of Main Street, but so he needs to be banned. Is that what the Equity needs to make sure that he's banned?
Yes, and have the signs that no trespassing.
They have signs. They have 3 signs up there.
Okay. Yeah, the police have arrested after we met with them about 6 weeks ago about troubles at the transit center garage, and they said they arrested like 14 to 16 people in about a 6-week period after that. So you know, they'll do a targeted area if there's a known issue. Hopefully it's going to help there because it's gotten really bad, the transit center.
With it being cold, more of them are starting to hang out in the garages also. So
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Anybody else?
Has the staffing level changed with your team? Like the hours of which shift they're doing, you know, from summer to winter?
Well, I have one extra person on staff now just to fill in hours where we might need extra person. And then myself, I'll come in and I might show up at all kinds of hours. You might see me out at 9 o'clock at night. So
Just wonder if we can refocus some of the hours to where the dinner crowds are coming in.
I know
Kinda.
doing it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we still have someone here. It's 2 people here at 10 o'clock at night, and then I might come through sometimes.
That's good. That's a good point, though, Andrew. Terry.
At the next meeting, we'll report back with what progress we've made, but also developed a plan of actions, an integrated plan, so we know exactly.
And I think we ought to think about trying to integrate and use the different, you know, the parking authority folks, you know, David's folks, because I mean, we have a lot of bodies on the street, you think about it, a lot of eyes out there, so maybe we can help.
At least get them to call the police.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I figure most of them, they wouldn't want to interact with them or say anything to them, but they can call the police though, at least through that.
Republic probably needs to be aware of our desire to maybe, I'll talk about that Thursday.
Sure.
Okay.
Can I, so David, as things are more developing on this end of the downtown, and then you're getting ready to go up Midland as well, are you stretched too thin? And I mean, it was probably 2 was enough when you had a pocket from Martin Luther down the other direction, but when things happen in this direction too, is 2 coverage enough?
What, in the evenings you talking about?
Because you've got Carson's down on this end, but you've got the restaurant road kind of down on that end.
I would love to have somebody just as a safety ambassador. Because the team that we have, we are clean ambassadors. But someone that's strictly just for safety ambassador, Terry probably know what I'm talking about. You have a safety, someone that's doing bike patrol that they can get to a lot of areas quicker and move around more. And that'll be someone who's always looking for safety issues, security issues. That's all they'll do throughout the shift. So if I could be able, if I would have had that one extra person for that in the future, especially when the weather changes, by the time the weather changes again, that'll be helpful.
Can you think about that maybe as the spring?
I can talk to Blair block by block and see what the pricing on that for one. Would it be an 8-hour shift, 5 days? What are you talking about?
I think it would. Mainly those Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. I would think that we would need somebody else, because that's the time where more people are out coming through during the weekends. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, 8-hour shift. Maybe not even an 8-hour shift. Might be able to get 2 people and have them work 4-hour shifts or 5-hour shifts from dinner time up until like 10 in the evening. I'll be able to do it that way.
I think it's worth a conversation, Kevin. I agree with you. So I'm going to talk to Blair, and maybe you two could visit, kind of you tell him what you think we need here, and he can even work out some pricing or add to our contract perhaps.
I'll do that.
So you think in the spring is when you would roll it out?
Yes, sir.
Anything else yeah, Jake.
David, I got a question. Snow season's upon us. We got lucky last year. I just want to go over what our responsibility is going to be. Hopefully everybody knows council passed a snow shoveling ordinance about 1.5 years ago. That when there's a snow event of more than 4 inches, property owners are responsible for clearing their sidewalk. If they're on a street that gets plowed, all the streets downtown get plowed, so all these apartments and these businesses downtown are going to be responsible for clearing their sidewalks. We talked about block by block, making sure that the intersections are clear. I mean, not out in the street, but what happens is that it gets piled up at the corner so people can't get across. So are you guys all set to do that if we get a snowstorm?
Now, the thing was, when I talked with Blair about that, he said that in the contract, snow removal was not in it. But with me, if I see an issue, I'm gonna take care of it anyway. But that was something that was not in the contract, snow removal. But if there's something where it's blocking a ramp where people can walk across or have to walk over a snowman or something, yeah, we'll come and take care of it.
Okay, because that happens at those handicap ramps. I mean,
Yeah.
I've literally had it's like bouldering to get over the snow.
Because in Louisville, we did, in the district, we did all the ramps in the district.
Okay.
So.
Jake, isn't that technically the city's responsibility, the crosswalk there, to keep those clean?
No one's ever done it, so it's, and that's what, when we got this started, that's one of the things I asked if David's folks could take care of that, and I'm pretty sure I got an affirmative on that.
Yeah, I was a witness of what they did in Louisville when I worked in parking in Louisville for a couple of years, and it's really awesome what they can do. And I would think that we ought to look at the contract if it wasn't specific, because you think they're probably not doing weeds, they're not doing leaves. You know, if we're adjusting what the role is during a snow event, it should be able to come out the same. But there's some liability, or you know, we would certainly be willing to buy the shovels, and that. And I just don't know why it wasn't.
Snow blower.
I won't get too far ahead, but role of hopefully of the DLP is to start managing the contract. So I've worked with block by block for years. And again, their approach is, if you see something, we got to address it. So I'm sure what we have to do is just come up with a plan. I think what we have to do is kind of getting ahead of what some of my remarks would be, but we got to start planning and doing stuff in a thoughtful way, looking forward and addressing all of our needs and coming up with a comprehensive plan of action for all things, and not. I believe you got to be intentional and plan for these things, and not say, "Oh, hey, this happened," and all of a sudden you're going 5 different ways and stuff like that. So I'll talk a little bit further about that, but let us kind of get on the ground here, review the contract. I know Blair the regional manager for this area is also the regional manager all the way down in Texas, where I just came from. So he's fairly new, though. John, I think he started like 9 months ago, 6 months ago. He started right after the hurricane hit Houston, so he was a little busy when he first started, but because that's where he's located, is in Houston. But we'll get on this and make sure that things are getting addressed in a strategic way, in a sustainable way.
What about my frustration has been Woodford's frustration. Some property owners take care of their property, like Woodford does, and others, 21C and Robert and all them. But those who don't, we just gonna call the government, and then they have 48 hours, and by the time the spring rolls around, the snow's gone. But I mean, are you expecting, are you thinking, Jake, that they should do that too?
They should show them? Oh, no.
Okay.
Property owners should.
Well, I know, but if they don't do it,
It doesn't get done.
If they don't do it, it doesn't get done. That's the problem, right?
Well, I think after these people get cited once or twice.
Yeah.
You know, the plan is, we didn't have any snow event last year, more than 4 inches, but the plan is to just give them a warning with the first snow event. And then after that, we're going to start citing them. And so I'm going to be calling 311 like crazy.
And your people know that, right,
I've said
David?
about this for years.
Your folks know to call 311, because they're going to see the ones who've not shoveled the snow quicker than anybody else, right?
Obvious.
Yeah.
Deputize them.
Do it.
Deputize them.
We'll deputize them. That's right.
What liability?
Anything else for David? Okay, I promised Beverly a spot on the agenda in a very prominent matter. So you'll follow this discussion, Beverly?
Okay, well, 2 meetings ago, we were here just to talk about the enhanced lighting project and really just to let you guys know what it was about. We didn't ask for anything. Then I thought we should have asked for something. So I emailed Fraser and I said, this project can't just live out here in left field. It has to have a home. And we didn't directly ask for it, but would the management district take this on? And he said, get the DLC and the Downtown Lexington Partnership on board. Okay, so Fraser, this is
explain
what
to
I've
Terry,
done.
Beverly.
Huh?
Wait, take 2 minutes and explain so that Terry has some knowledge of what you were talking about, cities that light up buildings.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute, he's going to find out.
Okay.
We have a meeting this afternoon, don't we?
Thursday.
And I gave him some information.
Okay. So this is what I did, Fraser. We have a meeting with the mayor on Thursday. And the mayor invited Jeff Reed, who's the Commissioner of General Services, you, Terry Sweeney, Kevin, Jamie Emmons, the mayor's chief of staff, and a couple of other people. We're going to explain this project, but this time we're going to make some specific requests, and because these are the steps that we think should be taken. One, there should be somebody to direct this project. Secondly, I think I should direct the project, since it was my idea and I'm the most enthusiastic about it. And I will do it on a volunteer basis, at least to begin with. And that we think it should be housed in the management district. I mean, we think it's a perfect fit. And some of the signature projects to start with, the Triangle Foundation, because of the buzz about lighting. Okay, so now the Triangle Foundation thinks, well, we would like to explore the option of uplighting the trees in Triangle Park and redoing the lighting in Thoroughbred Park. The lights have been out for a long time, but now with this light, buzz, let's redo the lighting. And not just the, replace the burned out bulbs, but if you're going to do it, do a dynamic light system, maybe that changes colors and the lights change and that sort of thing. So work with the Triangle Foundation. Work with, the second one would be lighting the Fifth Third Pavilion. And I think really by rights that the bank should be given first refusal on taking on that project. Since they are the ones that kicked in the money, we wouldn't have the pavilion without the bank. So give them the first refusal on that. And then the other project is to have year-round street lights on the street trees on Main Street. They're so cool out there now. That lighting or some other kind of lighting on those street trees. And I just want to say that we think that this project has planted a seed just from talking to you all and the parking authority board and a couple of groups of stakeholders, and people have been overwhelmingly enthusiastic about it. Like the Triangle Foundation, we went down and talked with Steve, and it was like, oh yeah, I mean, we've been thinking about this, but it kind of kicks it into high gear. Okay, so we're going to put them in touch with some companies that they can talk to about these lighting possibilities. And the terrific lighting of the cranes on the Centerpoint block, yeah.
We're going to leave those up for another 10 years later.
Oh, well, and the parking authority has had kind of in the back of its mind doing some upgrades and lighting on the Victorian Square garage. Well, okay, so there's buzz about lighting, and they are going ahead with that project, and Graham is helping them with that. Well, the most recent thing is UK is interested in doing some creative lighting on the Patterson office tower. So that led to talking about, what about a light festival with UK and downtown making this a joint effort? I mean, how cool could that be? So, So that's what we're gonna do. I mean, we're gonna just say to the mayor, and I just wanted to let you know that we're going to suggest to him and to Terry that the management district take this on, because I think this is a high-profile kind of project that would give the management district a lot of exposure. And I think there are people who, like, what is the management district doing? I mean, well, this would give the management district high visibility, and it would be great for the management district, great for downtown, and so that's where we are.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. I'm sure Terry will get filled in. You've probably had experience with lighting issues before, hopefully, so we look forward to your stewardship.
And let me jump in here if I could real quick. This brings me to the whole question of what is the management district supposed to be doing right now? I mean, I'm on the management district, I'm on the Downtown Lexington Partnership, I'm on the DLC, sitting and talking about the same things. I see personally the management district being more of a conduit for Terry and the partnership and the DLC DDA bringing ideas to the management district. We meet not necessarily monthly, but quarterly, and then our committee is really gone, and this whole group hears recommendations from Terry's group about what to do. But it almost seems like we're micromanaging the process if the management district is taking on projects that maybe the Downtown Lexington Partnership should be doing and bringing to us. We're the funding mechanism. I mean, are we necessarily the idea or the committee group? I don't know. That's what I'm fundamentally struggling with, because I mean, they're even with this merger and consolidation, are we duplicating too many things?
Although, you know, wherever good ideas come from, they should just.
But rather than your group be housed under the management district, should it be housed under the partnership or the DLC? I mean,
well,
it's kind of still the same, but
we're going to be meeting after this meeting. Three of us are, to try to have a little understanding of maybe just exactly how we're going to approach this. I think that's
good point.
Right.
That's kind of on
because
our
really
agenda.
from a big picture standpoint, the stakeholders are going to want to know. Okay, last year you got 400,000 in. What'd you do with it?
Right.
What are the results? And then, that's what this committee does. And then, well, we worked with the Downtown Lexington Partnership to do this, this, and this. We gave this for the boat project, the benches, and here, here, and here. And hopefully the stakeholders appreciate that enough to extend it beyond the sunset, which is really 2.5 years away from now.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
That's just, I'm still trying to get my arms around what we're doing here.
I would say that there are people who don't know what the management district does. And I just thought about this. I ran into Debbie Long, who is the owner of Dudley's Restaurant, just a couple of days ago, and I was telling her about this project. She said, oh my God, yes, lights downtown, that's what we need, especially on the parking garages and parking lots. And then that led to her saying, you know, Beverly, I voted for the management district, but she said, if I had to vote today, I wouldn't vote for it.
It's kind of interesting because they stay parked out.
I was going to say she's the biggest user of our services, which I find quite interesting.
All I'm doing is telling you what she said.
She said that to me too.
Did she say why?
I think because she thinks that she's paid maybe, one time? I don't know how many.
This will be the second
right now, yeah.
And she doesn't, she doesn't know what the management district has done with her money.
Somehow, and I mentioned it when it got in the last newsletter to put the numbers, but the numbers of things that David's crew is doing is a real good visual of the activity levels. And maybe they don't read emails, and I don't know how you get that in front of people, but it's a real good testament to the work that they're doing out there. The numbers of bags and the numbers of graffiti, and anybody in downtown has to appreciate that. Who was doing it before? Nobody. So that's one way to help folks like Debbie know what's going on besides the visual things that could happen with
well,
art.
She was aware of, I think, block by block and the cleaning efforts. I think she did know that.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity. We've got Terry on board. You've got Catherine here, who's very good at marketing and outreach. Now we're a little over a year really into the spending of money. It's an opportunity to start using those two skills to explain to people the benefits. Sure.
And we're getting good press on the street with all the awards and things that we've gotten. And I think we should continue to meet monthly until we figure out the well-oiled machine.
Well, that was going to be on my agenda. I was going to ask you if you want
both
to leave it
ways
there
on
now?
Well, I think until we get Terry a few months in and kind of get organized here about what each organization does or what Terry's group can do for you and us.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm not sure we're ready to go quarterly just yet.
No, I was kind of keying off what you'd said before, so if we want to kind of back away, we do when we want to. We probably should have done this in reverse order. Now that we've had all this conversation, we're now going to introduce Terry to us.
You call me Steve.
Steve, you can introduce Terry. Okay.
Well, this is Terry Sweeney. He's the guy that's drinking information through the fire hose. We are excited to have Terry as the president and CEO of Downtown Western Partnership. There were several people here that were involved in the search committee and in the consolidation committee to get that organization together. We had a pretty exhaustive search. We limited it down to 4 candidates, none of which were from Kentucky, and brought them in and without any reservation. It was a unanimous selection with Terry. The experience that he has, he's coming from Corpus Christi, Texas, where he headed up the management district there, but he hails from Indianapolis, where he was involved with Indianapolis Downtown Incorporated for 18 years. The references that he gave were just over the top in recommending him and talking about his ability to get things done. And if you were at the meeting just the other day with the DLP, you heard him speak a little bit about the sense of urgency, prioritizing things, and kind of developing an action plan to be very, very effective in what this organization is going to do. So we're glad to have him on board. His wife's name is Barb. She's here also, and they're getting settled in. So this is Terry, and I think he's got a couple of remarks, and maybe we'll address a few of the things that we've kind of discussed this morning.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, all. It's good to be here, and I see that you're all very well engaged, and so that's an asset. As Steve mentioned, I spoke yesterday for those who weren't there. How many people weren't there? What? Weren't. Oh, all right, good.
I was in Westerville.
All right. That's okay. So I won't go back over those things much, other than to say, again, the sense of urgency. I always sum that up. Do more, do it better, do it now. So, this isn't rocket science, but there's an art to it. Like, you just got to get about the business and provide positive, tangible results to our funders and stakeholders. And how do you do that? And I think what my 100-day plan is first to do research and work some things out internally, making sure that we understand our team and I understand the programs we currently have. So our staff has been very helpful, and we're starting to set up a schedule for that. And then externally, it's engagement. I want to get around, meet folks, listen, talk. But I'll tell you that our staff in the next 45 days will have an internal retreat, and we'll understand who we are, what we need to do, and things like that. And then we need to engage the DLP board or our stakeholders and funders in a way that I still got to figure this out. Hosting a board retreat. Now, what board is that? How many boards is that? And then how I've done this in the past is, by the way, I want you to understand what a retreat is. I always say this. My board retreats are speed retreating, so it's 2 hours. So we do the work ahead of time, and then we come in and you're ready to go, and we lead through a discussion so that we're all busy folks, and we got to get about our own businesses and things like that. So, but once we're done with the board retreat, we host a reception that evening. And all of our work is up on the walls. We invite everyone, I don't care who it is, city leaders, stakeholders, our customers, everyone come in, see what we've done. We have them write and help prioritize what they think our priorities should be. So then when we leave there, we have a good sense of who we are, what we do, and where we're going, and we have good buy-in. So we should expect if there are 300 people at the meeting for the luncheon, we're going to have 300 or 400 people come through, help us understand this is the direction we're going to go, and then we'll get about our business. And then we'll have a good understanding of what's needed and what we aspire to do. And I think one of the things that we've got to start trying to figure out is there's this umbrella organization. And I hope this isn't heresy that I'm saying this. We have to think about these different sub-organizations as funding silos or partners, and not everyone saying, okay, this group's going to start doing this, and this committee's going to start doing this. And we start communicating that what we're working for is this broad mission, and these are the funding silos underneath that how that gets accomplished. So now when you're talking to your customers of, hey, you need to re-up, this thing, it's like, no, we're revitalizing downtown, and this is one of the funding silos, and this is what you're paying for to get that done. So it's got to be a comprehensive approach, not just, hey, we just do this part of it, and that's all we're funding. You're funding the mission of the organization, and the mission of the organization is very broad. So that's what I hope we get to in the next 90 days, so that by April, we're running out of the gate strong, hard, and we'll provide those results.
Good, great. Any questions of Terry? Well, I, for one, am glad you're here. For many reasons, but thank you. Okay, so we will defer our conversation with regard to changing the agenda, meeting times. The meeting times are going until we kind of get more situated. Is that okay with everybody?
For 90 days or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just, keep going.
Any public comment for items that are not on the agenda? Anybody? Andrew?
I was thinking a minute ago about kind of the Dudley's scenario. What if we send a year-end report to all of our district members to let them know what our tally is? Trash, graffiti. We have a comprehensive year report. If David can show he's picked up 20 cubic yards of whatever. That I think it's visual, and it gets sent to everybody, and it can have the stats. Can have other information in the report.
Andrew, that's a great suggestion. Terry, when he came up and presented, you had brought several of their annual reports that were very impressive, addressing exactly what you're doing.
So, just kind of build on that. So, what we all hope that we accomplish by next 90 days is we'll come up with a 3-year strategic plan. And I call it a 3-year strategic plan because 5 years is too long, sense of urgency. 5 years, if you do that, you spend the first 3 years just kind of, okay, we're just doing stuff. So, create these tight deadlines. But then we'll have, with that 3-year plan, we'll have a 1-year service plan. So this is what we accomplished in the first year of that 3-year. And then we'll have individual work plans of who's responsible for what. And then we will be benchmarking every single thing. But benchmarking is just our activity, right? It all should be designed towards monitoring the health of downtown, so we will track the economic indicators. As I say, we can pick up all the cigarette butts in the world, but if there aren't new businesses coming in, being successful, and new development, who cares, right? So we got to benchmark 2 things: our activity, and that activity is designed to impact our economic indicators. And that's where we got to really get towards. And then people will start to see, hey, this is working. Or if not, then we got real problems. They say it's not working. But right now we just got to get organized, and everything will flow back from the 3-year plan, and we'll have intermediate steps and benchmarks. So.
And you might track occupancy of downtown office buildings or retail, because the economy's been going well, of course. Office occupancy's been going up, and maybe not necessarily due to the cigarette butts being picked up, but we can promote that as stats in our favor. And that could get the attention of some of the larger, mid-sized, small property owners that, hey, your space is being rented and leased, and things are going well due to a multitude of reasons.
I'm a bit of a visual learner, so consequently, if we can incorporate some anecdotes, because people like to see, I see the numbers, but what is it really telling me? Susie Smith says this is wonderful. David's here every day cleaning up.
I'll send out examples of what we did for a 3-year plan, our service plan, and our annual report, and our real estate recruitment materials. So what we developed. So again, what I've chatted about as a staff, that information is our product. And so we have to benchmark everything that the market has and what we do. And that helps tell us the story of why I should invest in our downtown. Why should I locate my business here? Whether that's a retail or restaurant or corporate offices or a developer. So they need to know what the market's doing. And essentially what an organization like this does, you heard me talk about mall manager kind of thing, but if you're looking to invest and talking to the folks who do, is you're trying to figure out what the risk is. Our job is really to help minimize that risk, because there's a caretaker that's going to look out for you and help you address. As I say, one of the best things that we do is we're advocates. Like if you have a problem and you just go there yourself, it's like, hey, I got this problem, city or whatever. You're just one person. We represent an army. So when we come, it's like, hey, we got to address this, and how do we work together? And so things I think hopefully will change. We'll perform as an army and get things done. And again, on a daily basis, address these small things that affect you guys. Just as if you were tenants in a mall when you came to your landlord and said, I need this taken care of.
Anybody, anything else? Kate?
Terry, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Kate Savage with Arts Connect, and I'm one of the 3 collaborators on the Book Benches project that this organization gave us $15,000 to help underwrite the initial startup costs. In terms of an update, we are aggressively soliciting sponsorships right now. We already have 2 schools that are going to participate in this program. We have 5 benches that are being made available to schools. We have letters that have gone out with this brochure. There was a wonderful article in the paper the other day. I mentioned personally 2 or possibly even 3 times the 3 sponsors that we had. Obviously you, Visit Lexington, and the Corridors Commission. And this was not mentioned in the paper. I don't know if they have a policy about this sort of thing. I don't know. It's hard to control what they think, but the article was good and has gotten a lot of folks stirred up.
It was disappointing not to see us at least be mentioned, because we were one of the, I think the first ones over at Woodford. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to get the press to pick up on your sponsors, just from experience. So as long as everything, coming from the Book Bench project and Lexart, right?
You're everywhere on the
hard.
website, every single page of the website. We are doing whatever we have control over. So I just wanted to let you know. I also have the mobile gallery program as well as things that I do. And Catherine asked for some information about this. And this group also were very supportive of that program going forward and putting art into empty street level properties to kind of give it a bit more lifting look. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks.
Anybody else have anything?
I just want to mention what Woodford said at one time. The lighting project for the Fifth Third Pavilion needs to be coordinated with the lighting project of the courthouse. If we do them separately, it's going to look like who knows what.
Well, we
I think it'd be nice to go to
yet,
the
but-
third, but I'd give them a first shot at it, but I'm not sure I see them taking that. Sam Barnes, was the figurehead behind the $750,000 they got that done. The leadership has changed since then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's worth a shot and give them a first dibs on it.
Anybody? Anything else? Anybody?
Yeah.
Motion adjourned.
We have motion adjourned. We have a second. Yes. All in favor, please say aye. Good. We're adjourned. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to everyone.